Hello there, you're watching Nightline. I'm Anita Roo. News making the headlines. 18% toll reduction will not affect Plus finances, says Prime Minister. And no extension for E-Tunai Rakyat program, says Lim Guan Eng. We begin with our headlining story. The move to reduce the toll rate by 18% on several highways under Project Lebuh Raya Utara Selatan, or PLUS, would not affect the concessionaire financially, especially when it comes to maintenance of the highways. According to the Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the cut will be offset by the increased number of vehicles expected to use the highways in the foreseeable future.
Dengan mengurangkan tol sebanyak 18% dan tidak ada kenaikan tol selama 38 tahun, dia dapat perolehan yang mencukupi untuk membiayai kerja-kerja pemulihan dan lagi kerja-kerja maintenance yang akan diadakan. Kita percaya bahawa kegunaan jalan ini akan meningkat dan ini akan menambah pendapatan oleh khazanah. Dan juga kita dapati ada punca-punca pendapatan yang lain seperti advertisement dan lain-lain.
The Prime Minister said this to the media after a working visit to a sewage treatment plant in Langkawi on Sunday. Last Thursday, Tun Dr. Mahathir announced that Plus will not be sold and it will be held by Khazanah Berhad Nasional and Employees Provident Fund, EPF. To date, Khazanah owns a 51% stake in Plus, while the Employees Provident Fund, EPF, holds the remaining 49%. In another development, Tun Dr. Mahathir also said that all sewage treatment plants in the country are expected to adopt a new form of technology that is far more efficient, cheaper and cleaner if a pilot project to treat wastewater, now being implemented in Langkawi, proves effective. The Prime Minister said the Advanced Moving Bed Bioreactor, AMBBR technology, now being tested at the sewage treatment plant in Pantai Tengah before being introduced to other plants, has so far yielded positive results. During the visit to the sewage treatment plant, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the Malaysian-owned system has the ability to process wastewater and completely clear it of sediments, which otherwise could end up polluting the beaches and sea.
Kerana dulu wastewater pergi ke laut. Bila dia pergi ke laut, dia jadi satu masalah kepada kebersihan air laut, dan juga bila air pasang dia naik balik ke darat dan ikan-ikan pun terlibat. Jadi cara ini saya dapati seperti yang ditaklimat kepada saya tadi amatlah baik, dan saya harap dia berjaya supaya kita tidak lagi akan menghadapi masalah bagaimana kita nak rawat wastewater.
The AMBBR project was built by Kyoto Water Sdn Berhad with a cost of 16.5 million ringgit and is expected to be handed over to Indah Water Consortium in June this year. Elaborating further, Tun Dr. Mahathir, who was also Langkawi MP, said this particular technology was the first of its kind in Malaysia. And if it goes on to produce an excellent success rate, then the technology could be sold to other interested nations as well. The Kedah state government is not cancelling out the possibility of water rationing if the water shortages in the state continue to worsen. However, before rationing is carried out, Water, Land and Natural Resources Minister Dr. Xavier Jayakumar said available tube wells in the state would be opened to ensure water supply is adequate, especially for domestic consumers.
Yes, of course. Cloud seeding is one of them that we will do. But cloud seeding, if you can promise me that I seed the cloud and if rain falls in the right area, I really like to follow the rule of thumb that you have.
He said this after a visit to AMBBR sewage treatment plant in Pantai Tengah, together with Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad on Sunday. To date, the ongoing heat wave in Kedah has affected 3 major dams in the state, with the water levels having dropped to just 30%. The government does not have plans to extend the 30 ringgit e-Tunai Rakyat initiative when registration ends this March. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said the initiative, which kicked off from January 15th, would end on March 14th, but registration will close on March 9th. He added that the initiative was a good step towards becoming a cashless society, including for petty traders, senior citizens and small-time businesses.
When I went to the markets, like what you say is correct. There are some hawkers, they do not want to register because they said, leceh lah, lebih baik kita gunakan wang tunai lah. Yes, initially they may have that idea, but I think the time has come when they will realize everyone will have to go digital. This one is unavoidable. This is the future.
He said this to the media after launching the e-wallet registration program at Aeon Quintas City in Ipoh, Perak on Sunday. Lim also added that to date, 2.6 million people have applied, with 2 million applications approved. Under the 450 million ringgit allocation by the government, an estimated 15 million people are eligible to receive the handout. The Health Ministry is considering listing influenza as a disease that must be notified to the authorities. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, said for now, influenza was not in the list of infectious diseases that requires reporting under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act.
Dari masa dahulu, influenza adalah notifiable, mesti dilaporkan. Tetapi sejak beberapa tahun yang lalu, kita tidak lagi menjadikan influenza satu penyakit yang notifiable, maknanya mesti diberitahu. Justru kerana itu agak sukar untuk update senario ataupun seluruh kes seluruh negara. Ya, mungkin kita boleh perhatikan keperluannya. Jadi itu yang tidak dapat kita garap keseluruhan statistik untuk seluruh negara. Because it's not a notifiable disease. Seperti mana saya masa dulu, when was the last masa H1N1 dahulu. Ya, jadi ini yang perlu kita pahami supaya tidak timbul kekeliruan.
The minister was answering to a question from the media if his ministry would issue a daily statement on influenza cases. He also urged all health service providers to not raise the prices of influenza vaccines. Earlier, Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli officiated the Antibiotic Fun Run 2020 in Serdang, Selangor. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli also explained that his ministry's decision allowing only its Director General, Datuk Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, to issue statements on the current influenza situation in the country was made to avoid causing panic amongst the public. He denied that such decisions was made to downplay matters involving the infection.
Yang lebih mustahak itu adalah apabila dari segi kenyataan-kenyataan resmi, kerana influenza ini boleh saja juga mencetuskan apa yang dikatakan sebagai mungkin maklumat itu boleh mencetuskan alarm, dan oleh kerana itulah untuk KPK, KKM sangat berhati-hati untuk membuatkan kenyataan itu, dan saya yakin apa yang dikeluarkan oleh Datuk KPK, Ketua Pengarah Kesihatan Datuk Hisham, juga boleh sekaligus merangkum dan menggarap keseluruhan updates dengan usaha untuk kita memaskini maklumat.
On Saturday, Terengganu Local Government Housing, Health and Environment Committee Chairman Dr. Alias Razak had said he was disappointed that the Health Ministry had prevented the state government from issuing statements on the latest update involving influenza cases. It was also learnt that the Education Ministry was also told to only release the number of cases closed due to the disease and not to issue any statement involving the number of students found positive with influenza. PKR Vice President Zuraida Kamarudin said on Sunday she planned to respond to the show cause letter issued by the party's disciplinary board. Zuraida, however, declined to divulge the reasons for the show cause letter, but hinted that it might have something to do with a fiery speech that she had made during a gathering of PKR Deputy President Muhammad Azmin Ali's supporters at Renaissance Hotel last month. She also dismissed an alleged call by 11 state PKR chiefs on Saturday for the disciplinary board to sack her from the party. Earlier, Party Secretary-General Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail had confirmed that the letter issued by PKR's disciplinary board was delivered to Zuraida. The Ampang MP now has 14 days to issue her response. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, who is also PKR's Advisory Council Chairman, said on Sunday that she would leave it to the party's disciplinary committee to recommend action against Zoraida.
I leave it to the disciplinary committee because they have to be independent. You know, you say that I'm biased or something. So I think it's better that leave them to investigate and recommend actions to us. Thank you.
Dr. Wan Azizah, who is also Pandan MP, was asked to comment on Zoraida's purported breach that warranted the show cause letter. More than 3.4 million ringgit worth of traffic summonses have been successfully collected within the first 24 hours after the police introduced a 50% discount for those who pay their fines online. Bukit Aman Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Director Dato' Azizman Alias said that in that time, more than 32,000 payments have been recorded. He also said that the encouraging response by the public showed that consumers are taking advantage of the discount offered, as they can now avoid having to go in queue at the traffic police station. It is understood that those who settle their summonses through MyEG and Relax.com will get to enjoy the 50% discount from January 18th to February 1st. Agriculture and Agro-Based Industry Minister Datuk Sri Salahuddin Ayub on Sunday gave the assurance that there is sufficient food supply in the market to meet demands for the Chinese New Year celebration, which falls next week.
Saya sedang bekerjasama dengan pihak Kementerian Perdagangan Dalam Negeri dan Haiwan Pengguna. Bila makanan cukup, kita akan pantau dan insya-Allah harga akan menjadi lebih stabil. Itu yang diperlukan oleh rakyat dalam negara kita.
He said this to the media after the launch of the 2020 Antibiotic Fun Run at the Malaysia Agro Exposition Park, Serdang. The Malacca Road Transport Department RTD officers will go undercover as passengers to nab errant express bus drivers throughout their 2020 Chinese New Year operation, starting from January 18th to February 2nd. According to its director, Muhammad Firdaus Sharif, the undercover officers would snap pictures and record violations committed by drivers throughout the journey. Muhammad Sharif said the officers would focus on technical aspects such as brakes, tyres, traffic light, reflectors and inspection reports. They would also be checking the record of the drivers as well as the express bus companies to ensure there is no outstanding summons.
Penggunaan telefon bimbit semasa memandu dan juga pemanduan atau tata kelakuan pemandu di mana kita akan letakkan anggota kita dalam bas secara penyabaran sebab kita punya konsep POBC itu yang jadi dia. Sebab dia tak tahu mana satu bas anggota kita ada. So muka masing-masing menjaga-jagalah. Sebab apa, bila selalunya kita akan serve noti ataupun saman tu apabila sampai ke destinasi. Sampai destinasi tu dapat surat lah.
He was speaking to the media after inspecting the 2020 Chinese New Year operations at Malacca Central on Sunday. He also added that the RTD will be working with the National Anti-Drug Agency to conduct urine tests on bus drivers. Next on Nightline, Dungon drowning tragedy, bodies of 4 found. The details right after this breather. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Education Malaysia Global Services EMGS Chairman Dato' Abdul Rahman Muhammad Sharif, who was charged with 3 counts of criminal breach of trust CBT last week, will again face court action on Monday for money laundering. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC in a statement said on Sunday that Abdul Rahman will be charged at the Special Court in Johor Bahru under the Anti-Money Laundering Act, Anti-Terrorism Financing Act and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001. Last Monday, he pleaded not guilty to 3 charges of criminal breach of trust involving 178,000 ringgit belonging to Yayasan Pengurusan Ilmu. He was accused of using a portion of the money to purchase an industrial oven and exhaust hood for a coffee shop, as well as 2 cigar boxes for himself. EMGS is a wholly owned company of the Education Ministry and operates as a one-stop centre for international student services. In Terengganu, authorities on Sunday have managed to recover the bodies of 4 students from Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin Polytechnic that were swept away by waves at Pantai Teluk Bidara last Friday. According to Terengganu Fire and Rescue Department Deputy Director Syarikan Bustaman, the first body belonged to Muhammad Zulfahmi Zuki, was found by the members of the public on a beach near Mayang Sari Resort at about 7:30 a.m. The second body, that of Muhammad Ikhwan Ahmad Azhan, was later found by a group of fishermen at Teluk Lipat at about 11:35 a.m., about 8 kilometres from where the 4 were last seen. Some 30 minutes later, a rescue team spotted another body, that of Muhammad Luqman Al-Rashid Muhammad, floating about a kilometre away from where Muhammad Ikhwan's body was found. The last body to be found was of Muhammad Ami Izzuddin's at 3 p.m., 2 nautical miles from Pantai Teluk Bidara. All the bodies had been sent for post-mortem at the Dungun Hospital. Over in Sarawak, a Myanmar national who went missing after being swept out to sea was found drowned on a beach near the Samalaju port in Bintulu Sunday morning. The body of the victim, identified as Ang Tu, was discovered by a search and rescue team at 10:23 a.m., about 2.3 kilometres from the spot where he was last seen. His remains were handed over to the police for further action. The 27-year-old foreigner went missing last Wednesday while he was swimming on the beach during an outing with a group of friends at about 7 p.m. Police have arrested a man believed to be one of 2 individuals in a road bullying incident on the North-South Expressway who allegedly harassed and threatened a motorist with a steering lock in Perak last Monday. This after a dashcam video went viral on social media, showing the duo becoming angry at the driver for blocking their cars to prevent them from using the emergency lane on the highway along the Gua Tempurong to Kuala Lumpur stretch. State Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Zakaria Abdul Rahman said the 40-year-old suspect was detained at a house in Taman Sri Putra in Banting, Selangor at 5 p.m. Saturday. His arrest was assisted by the Kuala Langat Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Division. The suspect, who was tested negative for drugs, is being investigated under the Road Transport Act for reckless driving. After the break, deadly fire at disabled people's home. More news on that right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Onto the foreign front. Lotte Group founder Shin Kyu-ko, who founded a gum maker in 1948 in Japan and grew it into South Korea's #5 conglomerate, died from old age on Sunday. At 98, he was one of the last surviving first-generation South Korean entrepreneurs after the 1950 to 1953 Korean War that founded the country's chaebols, or family-run conglomerates that now dominate Asia's 4th largest economy. Lotte was founded in 1948 as a chewing gum maker in Japan by Shin, who moved to Japan when the Korean peninsula was under Japan's colonial rule. He married a Japanese woman and they had 2 sons in Japan who had a fight over the control of the business empire and a high-profile feud in 2015. Now, Shin Dong-bin, the younger son, is at the helm of the retail conglomerate. At least 8 people were killed and 30 were injured in a fire at a Czech home for people with disabilities early on Sunday. Officials say the blaze was reported just before 5 a.m. local time, and firefighters were on the scene within 10 minutes and were able to keep the fire from spreading. It's reported that the blaze started in one room before spreading to 3 others, and the 8 people died from smoke inhalation. It is unclear what caused the fire, and an investigation into the incident has been launched. Heavy snow and poor visibility hampered the search on Sunday for 4 South Koreans and 3 Nepalese caught in an avalanche in the popular Annapurna region of the Himalayas. Relatives of the missing Koreans have arrived in Kathmandu alongside several officials sent by Seoul to help with the emergency rescue efforts. The missing group was near the Annapurna base camp at around 3,230 meters above sea level when the avalanche struck after heavy snowfall on Friday. Helicopters were sent out on Saturday to rescue about 200 people stranded around Annapurna and other nearby mountains after the incident. 6 of the missing were part of the same expedition, while one Nepali porter was escorting a different group. In another development, China has reported 17 more cases of pneumonia caused by a new coronavirus strain on Sunday, stoking worries of it spreading as the country gears up to celebrate Chinese Lunar New Year when hundreds of millions of people travel. The total number of patients infected by the disease in China, all of them in central Chinese city of Wuhan, have now climbed to 62. According to a statement issued by the Wuhan Municipal Health Commission, 3 of the patients are seriously ill, while 2 have died. Despite the rise in the number of cases, however, a report from Chinese state broadcaster CCTV, aired on Sunday, featured 2 senior medical experts saying that initial assessments appear to show that it is not as bad as many people fear. The new virus is from the same large family of coronaviruses that includes severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, which killed nearly 800 people globally during a 2002-2003 outbreak that also started in China.